Hello everybody, welcome to the third episode of OneShot speedrun tutorial. So far we've covered the first two major areas of the 80% route, being the Barrens and the Glen, and now we're going to go through the Refuge, which is the third major area. And so, starting off here, we're going to just immediately run to the left. There's nowhere else to run, so the left seems like a good choice. You're going to get to this cutscene, you're going to talk a little bit to this robot, who mentions, hey, you're kind of in the sky right now. But after that, you want to run down. This screen is kind of weird, because the fast travel to the elevator deck does not activate until you talk to the character down here. So, super fast traveling does not work, to skip that text when you enter the area. When Nico turns the face up, get ready to walk up to the broken elevator panel, and then once Nico faces left, get ready to walk over to the cafe. Super fast travel to the cafe is faster, and you're going to enter the cafe simply for a tin of coffee, which will be important at the end of the sky part. Fast travel back to the elevator deck as soon as you leave the cafe, and you're going to walk down to the bottom left corner instead of the bottom right, go here, and you're going to sleep already. You do need to sleep once in each area, so in this area you just kind of get it out of the way immediately. Open the game when you need to. Master the cutscene and text. I hardly feel I need to explain what to do in this portion of the game, but I mean, you gotta do it, so make sure you do it right. And this is actually kind of an important dream sequence, because as soon as you finish this one, you can actually fast travel in this room back to the elevator deck. Even though that's not a fast travelable room to the bed, you can fast travel away from the bed. So you can use that to get to the elevator deck a little faster. And then here, once you're in the middle is the only way you can get into this door. It's actually faster to just run right to it instead of super fast traveling. But once you're in the middle, you want to run to down here. And you're going to want to get scissors, which are in the bathroom. And you're also going to want to get some magnets, which are going to be in this third hallway. Those scissors being in the second hallway. You're going to want to... You don't want to enter the left side of the double door. That was a mistake on my part. You want to enter the right side to get these fridge magnets slightly quicker. And then you want to go up to here and unlock the door. As soon as you exit the apartments, you want to fast travel not to the cafe like I did there, but to the elevator deck. And then walk up to the office, which is up here. Similarly to the apartments, because they're built the same way, we're not going to fast travel. We're just going to run to the right and make it in to the office. And once you're up against this tape dispenser, use the scissors with the metal cam. Use the button and the magnets together, and then use the magnetized button and talk to the tape dispenser. A lot happened there. You combine scissors and cam, and then button and magnets, and then equip the magnets and talk to a tape dispenser to make the item we have. And as soon as you have this taped button, fast travel to the elevator deck, and you immediately are at the elevator panel, or the button panel, so you can just press up and use the button panel. Mash a little bit here, and then as soon as you gain control, you have to type in the security code, which is always the same. It is always 63014. A reference to the original freeware version of OneShot, whose release date was June 30th of 2014. As soon as the lamplighter enters the elevator, you're free to enter the elevator yourself. And now you're into the elevator. Here you're going to mash through this awkward silence. You can continue the awkward silence with lamplighter here, but Nico invites the ability to talk to him about a few things about the game. And if you talk to him about all three things here, the job, the city, and the library, and just mash through all three as fast as possible, the elevator immediately ends. And having that end is faster than resuming awkward silence and just waiting for the elevator. There is a pause and then one text box before you're given the selection screen to talk about another thing. So it's very easy visual cue. So you mash through text, pause, and then there's a text box saying, alright, should I dot dot dot, and then after that text box is a selection. So it's a good visual cue to make sure you don't talk about any of the subjects between the job, the city, and the library. And speaking of the library, that's our next destination, but before we do that, we have to do a few things. The first thing you want to do is run up here to the back alley. Don't fast travel. Just run up and run right back out. We have the fast travel position stored for the back alley now, which is what we want. So now, once you get to the library, now you fast travel to the back alley. And you run up to Vendor Street. Once you have Vendor Street, you can go to the library for real. And this is where the major skip of the run comes in. This is going to be the KIP skip, or the library card skip, depending on who you talk to. What you have to do here is, I'm going to go into display capture, because it's going to look weird. I'm going to explain a little bit of how this works first. I have a specific tutorial for this skip. I'll link it in the description, but if you don't want to go watch that tutorial, I'll talk about it here. What you want to do is you're going to... So when you close the game, I should talk about this first. When you close the game and reopen it, not with a bed, but just by closing and reopening, you're going to notice this cutscene where Nico kind of gets scared. He said it keeps happening because I've closed the tutorial many times in between, or the game, and many times in between tutorial videos. So, but that'll usually be the first time you close it. And the first time you close the game without the assistance of a bed, there will actually be 3 text boxes right here. 3 of the Windows text boxes instead of 1. But as always, mashing enter will just give you the option you want. But with that property, what you can do is you can walk onto a tile. And as you're walking onto a tile, you can close the game and reopen it. And that cutscene will start where Nico kind of gets scared. Now, this tile is special because, as you see, if I walk onto it normally, Nico... There's a script that backs Nico up to the tile that they were just on. But if I walk onto the tile, if I close the game in the middle of Nico walking onto the tile and open the game and that cutscene happens, I can walk right past the script. So with that done, we're now in the back of the library way earlier than intended. And this is George. Shout out to the best RNG. George is a character who is random. There are dice. They're based on a dice, if you couldn't tell. So what that means is there are 6 different forms of George that you can talk to, and each George has a different amount of text. So depending on which George you talk to, or which George you get to speak to, depends on whether you'll save time. I'll put an Imgur link into the description of the exact amount of time each George's text boxes take with a good mashing speed. But you'll only lose at most 3 seconds. For comparison, the fastest George is the 5-head George, which we have right now, who will take about 12.84 seconds with the good mashing. And the slowest one is George 3, which will take 15.87 seconds. So you'll only lose at most 3 seconds at any time with George. So you don't want to worry too much about it, but you want to mash through her text, and then once her text is done, you're going to equip the journal, and talk to George about it. You're going to mash here. Make sure you don't talk to her too much. So you give George the journal to translate and head up to the bed here. So now we're way out of sequence. As you could imagine, we didn't get into the library the normal way, but the game doesn't really care about that. It's just like, hey, you talked to George, you gave George the journal. You're at the part of the game where you're about to get your 3rd special item. The amber and the feather being the other 2 special items. So, you're tired, go to bed. The only bed in the ground refuge is in this part of the game. Or is in this library. So, you go to sleep, you wake up. And since you need a sleep before the journal is translated, the game just kind of lets you sleep as soon as you give George the journal. So you go over here, you talk to George, and George, the translation is done, and it will explain to you how to enter the tower. George will also give you the final part of yellow phosphor that you need, which is great. And now we're headed into, we have to, as you might notice, this tile that pushes Nico back still happens on the inside, so we do need to do this skip again. If you're too late on this skip, like if you close the game too late, you do run a chance of soft locking the game. So my advice here is never, like, you see, that could have been bad. My advice for that skip is to never run onto the tile. Actually, that will go back up for one more thing. So you may notice the scripts are when you're directly behind the desk. My advice is to never run onto the tiles behind the desk, because that is not too much of a time save and increases your risk of soft lock by a lot. So, once you do the skip the second time, get out of the library, fast travel to the vendor street. Nico's hungry, but the game's gonna be over in like 5 minutes. You can eat then, right? So you run into the tower right here, and this room, you know what to do here. You have to close the game. I'm not gonna do that yet. The tower is a very short area, takes a few minutes, like 5 maybe, on a normal run, 4 to 5. 5 for more of a beginner, 5:30. But there's so much going on in the tower in such a short period of time that I'm going to make the tower an episode of its own, just so I can have more of an open area to talk about just how much is going on and how to do it as fast as possible. So I'm going to see you guys next time when I'm going to tell y'all about how to speedrun the tower, which is the final portion of the game. So, if this tutorial has helped you speedrun the game, that's amazing. If you'd like to learn the whole game, you only have one more area, and I'll be covering that area in the episode upcoming. So, see you then.